The automotive industry in 2026 is going through a quiet but profound transformation. While many legacy manufacturers are still attempting to fix strategic missteps from the past, new players and new philosophies are reshaping the very definition of what it means to drive a contemporary vehicle. The divide between companies that simply respond to change and those that actively shape what comes next has never been clearer. Today's consumer is more informed and cautious, placing value not just on cutting-edge features but on transparency, reliability, and genuine day-to-day comfort. Established brands such as Volkswagen are working to rebuild credibility through refreshed styling and updated communication strategies. Yet for many drivers, these efforts feel largely cosmetic. Overly complex interfaces, dashboards dominated by digital layers, and design choices that prioritize spectacle over usability often create confusion. Instead of simplifying mobility, some modern cars demand constant adaptation, generating stress rather than reassurance. Taking a different path, Tesla has chosen to streamline the driving experience to its core essentials. Rather than competing over who can offer the most screens, the flashiest graphics, or the most futuristic controls, the company redirected its focus to a more fundamental question: what does a person truly need behind the wheel? The emphasis shifts from technological possibility to human necessity. It is within this context that the Tesla Model 2 appears. At first impression, it may seem understated compared to a market accustomed to digital extravagance, but this restraint is deliberate. Every detail of the vehicle has been crafted to feel intuitive, minimizing the need for instructions, tutorials, or lengthy adjustments. The goal is immediate familiarity. The philosophy guiding the Model 2 is rooted in a simple truth, often overlooked in automotive design. People are naturally drawn to predictable patterns. Controls are placed where drivers instinctively expect them to be. Information is displayed clearly and logically. As a result, operating the car feels less like learning something new and more like recognizing something already understood, reducing mental effort and reinforcing a sense of command. In an era when many vehicles resemble rolling computers, the Model 2 reaffirms the idea that technology should serve the driver quietly. Tesla's approach ensures that innovation works in the background, only becoming visible when necessary. When systems function seamlessly, progress feels effortless rather than overwhelming. The interior layout avoids oversized displays and labyrinth-like menus. Instead, it prioritizes readability, clarity, and direct interaction. This is not a retreat from technology, but a more mature application of it. The car remains connected and intelligent, yet without transforming the cockpit into a source of distraction. For first-time electric vehicle owners, this philosophy is particularly significant. Much of the hesitation surrounding EV adoption stems from unfamiliarity. When a car behaves in a consistent and logical manner, that uncertainty fades. Drivers do not feel intimidated or behind the curve. They simply feel capable and at ease. The concept of luxury also takes on a new meaning here. Rather than focusing on extravagant materials or elaborate branding, Tesla frames luxury as simplicity. True comfort lies in understanding your environment instantly. It is the confidence of knowing how everything works without effort. In this view, refinement is measured by ease, not excess. For stepping away from decades of marketing built on visual grandeur and technological overload, the Model 2 demonstrates that elegance can be subtle and highly functional. Stripping away unnecessary elements brings greater attention to what genuinely matters: safety, comfort, and trust. In 2026, this direction feels not just innovative, but essential. As the driving population becomes more diverse and older, overly complicated systems risk alienating large groups of people. The Model 2, by contrast, is designed with inclusivity in mind, a vehicle meant to be accessible to all. This human-centered thinking formed the basis of the entire project. Even before addressing powertrains, battery capacity, or pricing, Tesla sought to answer a more fundamental question: How can a car honor and support the person behind the wheel? The Model 2 represents the first step in that broader vision. Its most meaningful innovation is not limited to styling or specifications, but in the reversal of traditional design logic. Instead of forcing drivers to adapt to the machine adapts to them. For decades, each new generation of vehicles introduced new learning curves. In 2026, Tesla chose to end that pattern. Development of the Model 2 was informed by practical observation of real driver behavior, analyzing how people naturally interact with both physical and digital controls. Rather than relying on abstract gestures or deeply nested software layers, engineers implemented a thoughtful blend of responsive software and tactile inputs. The outcome is a significant reduction in cognitive load, allowing drivers to focus on what truly matters: the road ahead. Roughly 1/5 of the storage and control elements have been redesigned and relocated compared to earlier Tesla vehicles. Items such as cup holders and dedicated spaces for smartphones, wallets, and keys are now positioned within easy, natural reach. Grabbing something while driving no longer demands awkward body movement or extended moments with your eyes away from traffic. Physical controls have also returned in a purposeful way, with sizes ranging from 1.2 to 2 centimeters, textured surfaces, and individual backlighting. These buttons can be identified by touch alone, even when wearing gloves or with damp hands. This decision is not driven by nostalgia, but by practicality. In urgent situations, tactile feedback often proves quicker and more reliable than visual confirmation. Core features like windshield wipers, lighting, and climate adjustments are no longer dependent solely on touchscreen navigation. They are organized in a straightforward and coherent layout, allowing drivers to make changes almost instinctively. The arrangement was engineered to keep visual distraction to an absolute minimum, limiting off-road glances to a brief moment. In a market crowded with sterile, hyper-digital cabins, this more human-centered design stands out. Rather than turning the interior into a showcase of experimental tech, the Model 2 restores a sense of familiarity. From the first interaction, it communicates reassurance, something many rivals still struggle to achieve. Driver studies involving individuals over 60 revealed that 65% favor dashboards with clear, traditional layouts and minimal animation. Tesla used these insights to craft a streamlined interface with strong contrast and well-defined information zones. The primary display features approximately 95% contrast in characters around 1.5 inches tall, ensuring legibility regardless of lighting conditions. By 2026, older drivers are expected to represent close to 1/3 of motorists in the United States, and the Model 2 treats this group as central rather than secondary. Recognizing their importance not only broadens Tesla's market reach but also reflects a commitment to meaningful inclusion. Practical adjustments reinforce this philosophy. The doors are engineered with adaptable height positioning to make entry and exit easier, easing pressure on joints. Seats provide 10 different adjustment options, enabling personalized comfort for those dealing with persistent pain or mobility challenges. Even details like non-slip textured handles highlight the vehicle's ergonomic priorities. The optional senior mode further reflects this empathetic design. Enlarged icons, straightforward wording, and moderated voice prompts create a calmer interaction flow. The system adapts to the driver's rhythm, avoiding overload and unnecessary urgency. The result feels collaborative rather than imposing. Interior lighting was developed with equal care. LED set at 3000 Kelvin amid a warmer tone that reduces eye strain during nighttime travel. When doors open, subtle ground-directed illumination helps prevent missteps in darker surroundings. Material selection also emphasizes durability and ease of maintenance. Synthetic surfaces were chosen for their resilience, offering up to 60% greater resistance to wear, and their simple cleaning requirements. Considering that about 75% of older consumers prioritize low-maintenance interiors, this practical choice enhances everyday satisfaction. The design philosophy behind the Model 2 is grounded in real-world observation rather than purely digital modeling. Each decision seeks to promote dignity and independence for mature drivers. The approach avoids oversimplification. Instead, it delivers clarity paired with thoughtful execution. By blending well-placed physical controls with advanced software and ongoing updates, Tesla achieves a balanced ecosystem. Technology supports the experience without overwhelming it. The driver retains authority, a crucial factor in cultivating trust behind the wheel. This sense of reassurance is particularly important, given surveys showing that more than half of older drivers worry about becoming dependent on screen-based systems. The Model 2 addresses this concern through dedicated physical emergency controls, ensuring essential functions remain available even if digital systems encounter issues. The estimated added production expense for these tactile controls is about $75 per unit. Yet the return is substantial, boosting perceived quality by roughly 30%. From a strategic standpoint, it is a modest cost that yields significant gains in satisfaction and loyalty. While competitors continue to face criticism for overly complicated interfaces, Tesla benefits from attentively responding to user feedback. The Model 2 illustrates that true innovation lies not in stacking features, but in applying technology with intention and empathy. Ultimately, the Model 2 is more than a budget-friendly electric car. It is accessible in mental, physical, and emotional terms. This multi-dimensional accessibility reshapes what modern automotive design can and should represent. The understated character of the Model 2 is gradually proving to be its strongest edge in the market. Rather than dazzling at first glance and disappointing later, it follows the opposite path. Its appeal grows with everyday use. What may initially seem modest turns into a lasting advantage built on reliability, clarity, and effortless interaction. Tesla has not merely introduced a more affordable vehicle. It has presented a refreshed perspective on electric transportation in 2026, one grounded in understanding, consistency, and genuine regard for the person behind the wheel. Beyond usability, the second foundation of the Model 2's value lies in economic stability. In a world shaped by ongoing inflation, unpredictable fuel costs, and financial uncertainty, buyers increasingly prioritize control over expenses instead of flashy features. The Model 2 aligns perfectly with that mindset. Its projected annual ownership cost remains under $4,000 when accounting for electricity, servicing, and insurance. For retirees living on a fixed income of around $50,000 per year, that clarity can outweigh performance metrics. Predictable monthly expenses remove the stress traditionally linked to vehicle ownership. Eliminating the combustion engine significantly cuts maintenance demands. There are no oil replacements, timing belts, or exhaust components prone to wear. This streamlined mechanical structure minimizes unexpected workshop visits, a meaningful benefit for individuals with limited mobility or structured daily routines. Software updates delivered remotely further strengthen the sense of long-term value. At an estimated $15 per month, these upgrades can gradually enhance efficiency and driving range, potentially improving performance by up to 12% annually. Instead of aging quickly, the vehicle evolves digitally, maintaining relevance without requiring physical modifications. Charging costs also play a role in overall savings. Access to Tesla's proprietary charging network can reduce per-kilometer expenses by as much as 30% compared to third-party stations. Over time, these incremental savings accumulate into a substantial structural benefit. Round-the-clock technical assistance resolves about 85% of issues through remote diagnostics, limiting the need for dealership visits. For older drivers, this represents both convenience and independence. Many concerns can be addressed without leaving home, saving time and effort. When in-person service becomes necessary, home support options extend the brand's inclusive approach. Technicians can visit customers with mobility constraints, reinforcing that accessibility goes beyond affordability. With the Model 2, consideration extends to service logistics and real-world circumstances, not just the purchase price. Insurance conditions further strengthen the Model 2's appeal. Drivers in senior age groups may qualify for premiums up to 25% lower, largely due to advanced driver assistance technologies and statistically lower accident rates within this demographic. This saving plays a direct role in maintaining annual budget stability, reinforcing the idea that the Model 2 is a sensible investment over the long run. When evaluating the complete ownership picture, acquisition cost, servicing, electricity, insurance, and software enhancements, it becomes evident that the Model 2 was structured as a cohesive system. Its competitiveness does not depend solely on an attractive base price, but on a carefully designed ecosystem that keeps expenses manageable year after year. This holistic planning sets Tesla apart from manufacturers that treat pricing, service, and upgrades as disconnected elements. While certain brands continue to justify elevated prices with lengthy lists of underused features, Tesla emphasizes purposeful design. Buyers are not funding unnecessary extras. They are paying for solutions that serve a clear function. Eliminating superfluous elements prevents hidden cost inflation and preserves value. Stable ownership costs also influence the driver's emotional well-being. Freedom from sudden mechanical breakdowns or fuel price fluctuations fosters lasting confidence. For retirees in particular, this predictability can translate into greater flexibility when organizing travel, leisure, and personal commitments. In this sense, affordability gains a broader meaning. The Model 2 is not merely less expensive at purchase, it is structured to remain financially sustainable over time. Understanding the difference between sticker price and real-world operating costs becomes essential for making informed decisions. Tesla also expands accessibility beyond economics. The Model 2 resonates with individuals who may feel disconnected from overly complex digital ecosystems. Drivers less comfortable with intricate apps or futuristic interfaces encounter a vehicle that aligns with their daily habits and expectations. The cabin display supports this philosophy. High contrast levels around 95%, enlarged typography, and clearly segmented sections for media, climate, and driving data minimize confusion and accelerate decision-making. Such clarity enhances not only convenience but overall safety, compared with rivals criticized for cluttered digital dashboards and layered menus.